You're now approaching Marineland of Florida. This is an attraction that started out in 1939, actually 1938. It was built by the New York Whitneys, Cornelius Vanderbilt Whitney, who was also part of the Whitney Museum of Art in New York. The original attraction was built in 1938. It accommodated on opening day about 30,000 people attended the opening day attraction. The original attraction encompassed the area that you see right here, and going a little further south up to this building on the left. This is the entire boundary. The property was the size of Epcot Center. On the right is the Palmetto Matanzas Equestrian Preserve, and we're now going to be making a turn at the the southwest boundary of Marineland. This is the actual end of Marineland property. Originally the site was almost the size of Epcot Center in the Orlando area. Seatbelt on. On the beach at this area, it is lined with coquina rock. Coquina used to be mined for the Castillo de San Marcos, for Fort Matanzas, and some of the coquina rock can be seen in this wall as we approach it. There's now a public beach down over here that anyone can come and visit. You can walk on the beach, walk on the boardwalk area. There's public restrooms. At this point, there was actually a swimming pool and a hotel and motel in this piece of property. And then beyond this was an attraction. The attraction encompassed all of this area. On the left-hand side, there was a Nautilus Theater that had a 3D movie called The Sea Dream. This area on the right is the original attraction. There were some tanks, dolphin shows, porpoise shows if you want to call them. It had about 3 outdoor ponds. On the left here, this is operated by the University of Florida Whitney Laboratories. It's a research facility, and they do invertebrate research on all different marine species, finding vehicles for medicine and chemicals and biology innovations. We're now coming up to the old A1A on the right. If you drove up this road here, they say you can't turn around, so you have to back out. If you drive in, you back out. We're now coming up to the old Summer Haven River. Now the houses on the right, those are all in danger if there's ever a hurricane. The last 5 hurricanes we have, some of them were somewhat damaged, not really that badly. But this is what is left of the Summer Haven River. The other tributary on the northern end of this has been closed up. So this is a very shallow river, and it really does go nowhere. Up ahead is an area called Summer Haven. Summer Haven is a residential community. The original owners was a Knight Hamburg Construction Company of Jacksonville, and they could get no permission from the Corps of Engineers or from any governmental agency to allow them to build. One of the local realtors acquired an interest in the property, and within 3 years, this entire property was under development and construction. The homes over here range from anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000, and some are in the $1 million range depending on where they are situated. Now coming up on the other side of the bridge, there's a house that is somewhat in the green shade. It's on the right. Used to have a dock behind it. It's a greenhouse next to a gray house. That was the original Philadelphia Melon Estate. Only a small portion of the original estate is still there, but you can see the greenhouse there. And you can see the river has been filled in and closed up. We're now approaching a road on the left-hand side. It's called Gene Johnson Road. At the turn of the century, a black man named Gene Johnson had a little seafood and chicken stand on the river on the intercoastal waterway side. And people used to come down by Conestoga wagon or buckboard and any horse and wagon or any way they can get here. And they'd come and eat chicken at his place. This is now a Matanzas Inlet. This is the original entrance to St. Augustine. Matanzas Inlet, Matanzas means slaughters. And on the other side of the bridge we'll be stopping and being able to narrate to some degree some of what the history of the point is. If you look over on the side here, you can see some of the area. And Pedro Mendez de Aviles came here in 1565, I'm sorry, in 1565 with an armada of 4 ships and 600 soldiers and settled the area. There was no outpost over here. They had a watch, and the commander would send the runners down here to observe and notify them if in the event something was going on here. At the same time, King of France sent General Ribault to Jacksonville, and they had a materials compound or a fortress up there called Fort Caroline. It was approximately 40 miles away from the settlement in St. Augustine. Well, Jean Ribault went to attack St. Augustine with a armada of 3 ships and about 400 men. As luck would have it, he encountered a tropical storm. When he encountered the tropical storm, his ships were destroyed between Daytona Beach and what is now Port Canaveral. Over a period of 2 weeks, his soldiers made their way back through the brush and jungle and then up on the beach over here, at which point they were intercepted by Don Pedro Mendez de Aviles soldiers, who talked them into surrendering and told them they would be treated humanely. The first group, about 130, 140 soldiers, was taken across in groups of 10, marched behind the dunes over here, and butchered. The second group arrived here a week later, about 140 or 160 men, and the same consequence. They were asked if they would convert to Catholicism, and they said no. They refused to convert, and they again were killed. The rest of the history will be going on to when you go into St. Augustine. We're trying to come back out on A1A, and we'll be going up the beach a little bit. Directly in front of us is Atlantic Ocean, and some fantastic fishing, surfing, and we're coming out to Fort Matanzas National Monument on the right-hand side. I'm sorry, Fort Matanzas National Seashore on the right-hand side. On the left will be Fort Matanzas National Monument, because they built a fort here in the 1700s. This is Fort Matanzas National Monument, owned and operated by National Park Service. There are a few nature trails, a conservation area, There's boat rides from this point. There's a little museum. I'm going to give you some history of the area. There's nature walks, a bit of signage. There's a little museum over there. Visitor center, restrooms, the guest parking area. They have some snacks over here on vending machines. There's a free boat ride to the port. This is located about 14 miles south of St. Augustine. The easiest way to come here is on A1A. There's a runway to the beach on the other side over there. And that puts you right at the ocean. You used to be able to drive on the beach over here. They no longer permit that unless you have a four-wheel drive vehicle. On the right are some condominiums. The first one is Summer House Condominium. Has about 600 units. On the left there's an Intercoastal Waterway Park. And then from here we'll be getting up into Crescent Beach. For the most part, this is what the beach on A1A looks like for the next 6 miles. Then there'll be a bunch of condominiums. In the next sequence, we'll find the rest of this out.